Welcome to the Pitch Your Pick podcast, the podcast where we dive deep into the sports books, find our favorite plays, and pitch them to each other to find the best bets every day. I'm Joe. This is Jer. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing good. It's Friday. We got all kinds of sports tomorrow to watch.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
excited.
Hey, I'm probably going to dive deep into the NBA tomorrow for some personal plays. Not that that went too hot today, but I guess we'll check our tournament record. Yes, I made a whole little screen. I sent it to him personally just so you can check out what it's looking like here. And today was a little bit less great than yesterday, but for some quick hitter picks, I don't think it was that bad. Obviously, we said we severely toned down our unit size for some of these just to have some fun and have a bet on every game for something to root for. But I finished out 14, 16, and 2 on the tournament, just straight quick hit picks with not too much research in there, which I'll say I think is pretty good. I'll take some dubs for that. 2 negative. You know what? It wasn't a bad time, and it was pretty fun to go with it. So we're actually be doing something slightly different here. Because it's no longer 16 quick hit picks, Jared could have a little bit more time to research them all, so he's going to pitch them to me. But we're going to do a quick little overview just of the quick slates of what we have tonight for some games, because it's a pretty full Saturday, so we at least want to talk about some quick just games to look for. So here's the NHL real quick, and Jared can tell you about these wonderful ones.
Yeah, so there's a couple good games tonight. Vegas is struggling and they're playing the LA Kings, so that should be an interesting game. It's an afternoon game. Chicago and Minnesota should be a good game for props. Arizona's playing again tonight. They're the hottest offense in the NHL right now. Columbus is playing, one of my favorite teams to bet on, or bet with, bet against, bet for, whatever it is. Just bet on their games. It's exciting to watch. Montreal's playing, so I'll probably be betting on that game. And Calgary and Vancouver should be a really good game as well.
Yeah, we love that. And then for the NBA, when they have 4 games, but they look to be okay. I mean, we have the Mavericks and Hornets, so maybe one of the few times that Luka Doncic over 50 would be a absolutely horrible place to pick it. We got Bucks and Timberwolves, which is pretty fun. Although I don't think Katz can be going for 60 again. The Pistons and Cavaliers. If Cade and Jeremy Grant aren't going to be playing, Sadiq Bey is going to be looking real juicy at 51 without them last time. And Wizards versus the Lakers. So Kyle Kuzma over is probably going to be real juicy there. Although LeBron James is now 20 points away from becoming second all-time on scoring. So I'm almost positive that will be happening tonight in this game between the Lakers and the Wizards. I would be shocked if LeBron doesn't drop 20 on the Wizards at some point.
I would be stunned.
Honestly, it would be the biggest fluke I've ever seen. The only way I see LeBron not doing is if he twists an ankle or something like that. Any other scenario, he's got it. So we'll get into here. We'll switch it back to our wonderful little tournament I guess, screen that we've been using where we have the two of us on the little left side and we got us here, and see if Jared can bring us back into the positives to the brackets. He's going to be pitching them, and I'm going to be, I guess, reacting to these. This is the first for me, so let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going to start with the UNC at Baylor game, or UNC versus Baylor game. It's not at anyone.
Yeah, he's a neutral court, so don't be saying that.
Yeah, neutral court, but I think this one's going to be an exciting one to kick off the day. UNC scored 91 points in their first matchup against Marquette and won that game by 30. And Baylor came out and did exactly what they expected to, or they were supposed to do against Norfolk State. Baylor scored 85 points in that game and won that game by more than 30 points. Obviously tonight it's going to be a much different matchup for both teams. Both of these teams have prolific offenses. According to KenPom, Baylor ranked 8th in the country in offensive efficiency, and the Tar Heels ranked 22nd. Over their last 10 games, the UNC Tar Heels are scoring 79.8 points per game over their last 5 games. Over their last 5 games, not their last 10 games. And the Baylor Bears are scoring 75 points. UNC plays at the 37th fastest adjusted tempo in the country, and I don't think Baylor will have any problems running with UNC. My lean is turned towards UNC to cover the spread, but I'm not confident enough to pick that side. But I do like the over here at 148. UNC is 20-13-1 to the over, and Baylor is 17-15-1 to the over. I like this game to be somewhat close and high scoring right down to the end.
Yeah, I like the fact that this game will most likely be high scoring. You got two pretty potent offenses, so I would probably lean towards the over as well. The only thing that's concerning for me is I got absolutely cooked on picking overs today. That's actually what hoed me. Is I went away from the unders because
Mhm.
the unders were cooking me on day one, but the overs cooked me on day two here. And Baylor really likes to slow it down, but they're not really that great at slowing opponents down too much. So I would say over probably the good safe bet here, especially given I don't think that Jamo Chachoa is going to be able to keep Armando Bacot from keeping up the, I think, longest streak of double doubles right now. So there should be a lot of second chance opportunities for North Carolina. But I agree with you that 5.5 spread initially looks good, but it seems a little dangerous. Seems a little dangerous.
Yeah, it's gonna fall. You don't know which side it's gonna
Yeah,
fall on.
I could see Baylor winning it by 15. I could see UNC sneaking out it by 3. Like
Mm,
I really could see this going either way, especially with how this tournament has been going. So
yeah,
I agree with your, just ignoring the spread and going with an over here. I like that.
yeah. So the second one we're gonna talk about Creighton, Kansas, or Creighton versus Kansas. And this is honestly just a tough draw for the Creighton Blue Jays. I think
Ooh,
they played a phenomenal game to knock off San Diego State.
yeah.
Unfortunately for them, the Jayhawks were waiting right around the corner. Um, the Blue Jays have been playing phenomenal basketball recently. They're 8-2 against the spread over their last 10 games, but Kansas is also 7-3 against the spread over their last 10. Um, Creighton is a team that really relies heavy on their defense. According to KenPom, they rank 17th in defensive efficiency and also hold opponents to the ninth lowest 2-point field goal percentage in the country. I'm a big fan of Coach Mack from Creighton. Um, I think he will have his guys amped up to go for this game, and I think you can count on the Creighton defensive effort here. I like Kansas to win this one, but I don't think there's really an upset alert. Um, but I just like this Creighton team I expect both these teams to really just lock it down. So I'm actually gonna take the under in this one at 139.5.
Okay. I was getting the sense that you would lean towards that way. I think there's one thing that could be really iffy for this bet, and it's Kalkbrenner, whatever you want to call it. He's the 7-1 sophomore for Creighton.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of that San Diego State game, he actually went down with an injury. And he's the anchor for that defense in the paint. And I would say that there's not really anybody else that can provide the same level of defense in the paint that he can. Which, if he's not playing, I like this a lot better towards the over, or just the over for Kansas, just because, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
losing your best defensive guy in the paint is really going to hinder this defense. I do still think they got it in the bag, Kansas, no matter what happens, but I would say the under just a little bit iffy if that guy's not playing. Haven't been able to actually do any seeing or sifting, to get the
Sure.
sense of if he's doing it. But I remember, watching the game, that he went down with an injury. Not sure how severe it is, but oh yeah, it's right. So it's the first headline for Creighton. Creighton loses Cowbunner knee for tourney. Okay, so he will not be playing.
Yeah.
So
And I just don't mind it because I think Creighton's just been doing it all season without their
that is
best
fair.
guys.
That is fair.
It's just been a next guy up for them kind of thing.
Yeah, I just think I will say I don't mind going an under because I do think Creighton is great all around. I just think that it's a
And
bit more
if they're
iffy.
giving up points at the if Kansas is scoring points in the paint, I'd rather them do that than score them from outside. I think so.
That's fair. I'll ride with you, but for anybody that is watching this, in a TikTok or whatever, be wary that he is not going to be playing. So this is not the most safe bet, but it still is a one that we're riding with.
It's a gut pick.
All right, Michigan, Tennessee.
Yeah. So personally, I think Michigan is kind of lucky to be in this round.
Ooh,
Um, Colorado State was had the lead going into halftime, right?
They were up 8,
Um,
I think.
yeah, and the Wolverines made some pretty good adjustments in the second half to flip the script completely. Um, a lot of people, including me, liked Colorado State to upset Michigan in that first game. Um, and now they're going up against like the second best team in the best conference in basketball, I think, in the SEC. Probably. I don't know a lot though. Um, so it is a completely different matchup tonight. CSU didn't have the size to handle Dickinson in the paint. He dominated both sides of the paint on both ends of the court, offensively and defensively. He had nice touch around the rim. I think he creates so many easy shots near the end of the shot clock whenever they needed one. Michigan's defense is pretty good. Also, they only allowed Colorado State to shoot 35% from the floor in the round of 64 matchup, and Michigan shot 54% from the field in that game. Tennessee does have one of the best defenses in the country, but I think there's only really so much you can do against a 7-1 guy that's turn around hitting baby hooks. Um, Ken Pom has predicted this to be a 6-point win for Tennessee, and I think that number is like right about perfect. I just think Michigan has a little bit better chance of making this a 4 or 5 point loss rather than Tennessee covering out on free throws. I don't really love it, but I didn't really love anything else either, so I'm gonna take Michigan +6.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say the one thing that Tennessee has lacked in is their 2 point percentage, or only 48% from the field. And we both watched Dickinson. That guy is going to be able to hold down the paint, anchor that really well. So if he can keep that paint defense going against an already, I wouldn't say struggling, but just not as great inside Tennessee team, I think that's looking really great. Yeah, the only problem is if Tennessee stops him. But I mean, Hunter Dickinson may have played one of his best games ever in that last game. The dude was amazing. I mean,
Dude, that guy was money.
he was taking those baby hooks and wasn't even holding the ball for more than a second. It was grab it, instant spin, boom, and up before the defense
He
even had
wasn't
time to
even
react.
looking at the rim before the ball was in the air. He was just flipping that thing over his shoulder
Yeah.
and it was going in.
The guy
He's money.
he's insanely skilled. So I do think
He's
that
got nice touch.
I think that this will be a bit of a close game. I think 6 is a good anchor point here. You also have that ability to push. We love the ability to push just because I'd rather keep my money back than lose it. So I think that's pretty nice here. And yeah, I agree. I think in these tournament games, as we get closer and closer, we're going to see less big swings in here. So Michigan to keep it close. I'll take it.
Next one.
Next
Richmond
one.
Providence.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm interested in what your pick is here.
So I think Providence definitely heard the noise coming into the tournament.
Yeah.
What they do is not pretty, but it works.
Yeah.
I understand it's not really the most fun basketball to watch, but you can guarantee that Providence will be giving 100% at all times on the defensive end. Providence ranks 67th in defensive efficiency and 38th in defensive adjusted field goal percentage. I like this Richmond team as well, but they're a little 3-point reliant for my liking in this matchup. They shoot 41.5 threes per game. Providence ranks 54th in opponent 3-point percentage according to Ken Pom. Providence just showed that they can handle a 3-point heavy team in South Dakota State. Providence is 18-13 against the spread this season. I got them at 2.5 under a possession. I like them to win by at least a possession tonight, probably around 3, 4, 5.
Okay. I'm riding the upset. I love the upset. You know, it's fun. I like it. Plus, this Richmond team just impressed me. And I've been a Providence hater. And I think for me to change up my stance now would just be incorrect. I took them at -2 to beat South Dakota State just because it was the smart play. But I will say you again are making the smart play. So if you're a betting man, take that. But I'm staying as my Providence hatership. And I really hope that Richmond can take this and bring it to the Sweet 16 because I need a Cinderella to root for, and I think Richmond with Gilliard has really kind of done that for me. They were playing great defense, and you gotta think with how great Richmond played against an offense like Iowa, forcing so many misses, not letting Iowa get comfortable at all. I think it's gonna be really hard for this Providence team to get comfortable with an already very ugly offense. So it'll be interesting. I think this will be a battle of who just makes more mistakes on the defensive end, and that's really about it. So
Yeah, no, some of these are gonna lose, and I wouldn't mind if this one lost. I like this.
We got to
Richmond
go with a
team
12
too.
seed. We got to go with a 12 seed. I'm riding that.
But until they put a spread higher than a possession on Providence, I'm gonna ride these guys because I like Providence too.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like how hard they play. They're gritty.
I'll give it to you. UCLA and St. Mary's. We all know that I'm a UCLA fanboy. So if it's anything other than UCLA's winning, I'm obviously not gonna love this.
I think UCLA is gonna be pissed after the way they played against Akron.
They should be.
I think they're gonna want to show that they can actually contend here. I think they're being clowned from the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
So UCLA has one of the best offensive in the game. You wouldn't know that if you watched the first game. They ranked 14th in offensive efficiency, but couldn't hit a layup in the first game. But that's according to KenPom. These guys are efficient shooting the basketball and did not turn it over. St. Mary's is here because of their defense. They rank 9th in defensive efficiency. But I don't really think that matters because UCLA ranks 13th in defensive efficiency. They kind of cancel each other out. I just think UCLA is the more talented team here. I got them at -3. I'm gonna ride that. I think they win by more than a possession as here too.
Yeah. I mean, I've said this. I think I'm completely biased. So really what I say in favor of either team, it doesn't matter too much. But I just like this UCLA team. This one's going to be a bit played in their comfort zone, in their pace. There's not as many matchups, but yeah, I think everything that you said is kind of right. I think that pressure of coming in for that first game and like proving that you were crazy, I think they just kind of looked past Akron. I just don't think that they expected Akron to come out and fight as hard as they did, and then they just started missing layups. Like, I'm pretty sure in the second half, the start of it, I saw Jaime Jaquez Jr. just miss like 6 straight layups, and I was like, dog, you take these all the time in practice. Like, what is this? Like, what is this?
What are you doing?
Like, what do you, like, come on. So it was a bit frustrating, but I love the St. Mary's defense and their ability to slow down the pace. And they can even speed it up too. I mean, they absolutely torched Indiana. So I think people are sleeping on the St. Mary's team, myself included. But I would also take UCLA -3 here. It's just, you got to go with just the more talented team. And I'm riding on the fact that UCLA really wants to get back and prove that they should have made it to the Final Four last season. Or past the Final Four to the championship game. They were in the Final Four. I'm tripping.
That one's one of my favorite ones of the day.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
That one doesn't hit, I'll be shocked.
All right, this one, though, you might be catching a lot of flack if you don't go with St. Peter's because I know the public is loving the Peacocks right now.
I'm catching flack.
Okay.
So I'll explain myself, though. I really wanted to pick this Peacocks team.
Yeah, that's fair.
They have some guys that are really fun to watch.
Mm.
I just think they caught Kentucky on the luckiest of days. I really like that St. Peter's coach. They did some of the interviews they showed of him. I think he'll have his guys ready to be prepared. I just think Murray State's coming into this matchup too hot. They're a true team. They had the whole squad stretching out the point guard at the end of regulation so he could play through his stupid cramps. And as Joe just said, this is going to be a huge public dog tomorrow. And I am not trusting that after we saw what happened to the Jackrabbits and Vermont and some of the other public dogs that we saw in the first round. I think Murray State knows they're lucky to have this matchup, and I think they're going to try and put this St. Peter's team away early so they can give their starters some well-deserved rest at the end of this game. So I'm taking Murray State -8.5.
It's actually -9 now, because people I think are betting a little bit farther in favor at Murray State. But I think that the smart bet is to take Murray State. Without a doubt, Murray State is the better team on paper. But I can't get over the fact. So people put out some statistics. If you look at budgets, Kentucky spends 12 and a half times the money that St. Peter's done on the basketball program, and they lost.
Dude, that's comedy.
12 and a half. That they spend like $18.3 million on their basketball program, and St. Peter's is, I don't even think, up to the mills. Like, they absolutely shafted. I think the nervous thing about this Peacocks team is that they were really reliant on contested shot making, and some days they just fall. And I think against Kentucky they just fell. Those 1-2 dribble pull-ups that are just insanely contested. The hands right in your face and you still drill it anyway. Those aren't consistent shots that you can rely on, but they were hitting them, and you got to give respect. You get those DeMar DeRozan shots. When those DeMar DeRozan shots are falling, it's the best night ever. For a team. And I think Murray State knows that, is not going to let them get them as often. And I don't think St. Peter's is going to be as great at hitting them. But I would love to see a 15 seed move on. I just think that Murray State, again, probably the safer bet if you want to actually make money tonight and not just...
That'll be a fun game to watch, I think.
I'll be watching all of these, but this one's going to be on the big screen for that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
New Mexico State, Arkansas.
Yeah. Okay. So this one's kind of a gut feel.
Okay.
I don't really have much on this.
Okay.
I like this New Mexico team. We picked them in the first round.
Yep.
I just think the way this New Mexico State team plays offensively is always going to keep them in the game. I don't know if they'll win this one necessarily, but I don't think they lose by more than 2 possessions, and I got them at +6.5. So I like them to lose by 6 maybe.
Okay.
I just think that the way they play, keep it inside, have consistent buckets at the basket. That's going to keep you in these tournament games. Like you just said, you don't always hit the contested pull-ups, but when you're taking layups at the rim, you're going to be in basketball games.
Yeah, I like this. Plus, I mean, what's his name? Teddy Allen. Teddy Allen was torching UConn. That guy, shot maker, bucket getter, but he did have to get told to stop showboating as much. He is a very inconsistent guy. I view him as like a Gary Trent Jr. kind of guy. When he's on, he is on, but when he's off, he's off. And I think Arkansas is a really good defensive team, so they're going to kind of try to limit him as more than maybe UConn did. But I will say New Mexico State does allow a very fast pace to their opponents. They like to play slow, but they let their opponents play pretty fast, and they're prone to turning the ball over. But Arkansas is really bad from the 3-point line, and that can be really tough, especially when New Mexico State's 25th in the country and lowest 3-point percentage allowed. So I think Arkansas has to make it work in the paint. And again, New Mexico State's also 35th in 2-point percentage allowed, and they are 16th in block percentage. So I think New Mexico State's got that paint locked down as well. So I think that matchup-wise, this looks pretty good for New Mexico State. So I wouldn't hate a +6.5 on them, honestly.
Love it.
Yeah, I want to hate that. We'll ride it. In the last game, Memphis and Gonzaga. I think we all know who everybody thinks is going to win here, but what bet do you have in the game?
I got Gonzaga -10.5.
Oh, you're going bold. Okay.
Memphis turns the ball over like crazy.
Yeah.
They rank 352nd in turnovers on KenPom.
Yeah.
You simply cannot give Gonzaga extra possessions. That's all I needed to know. Zags -10. Book it.
That's fair. I wanted to put out a little fun fact. You remember Amani Bates, how he was like one of those guys where he was talking about like the next up, this guy's going to be crazy. Well, they had him running big time minutes on the roster, and Memphis was 9-8. They took him out of the roster, and they are 11-2 cents. So
More.
I think the reason, I'm not going to say that he's the sole reason, but I think that they found out what may be the problem for their winning.
He got that Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
To him, eh?
So they got rid of him. I will say Gonzaga didn't have a great showing either against Georgia State. They allowed him to get 72 points on them. That's not great. But yeah, you make a very good point. Gonzaga likes to sprint. Memphis also likes to sprint, but Gonzaga doesn't like to turn the ball over, and Memphis is a big fan of giving your opponent extra possessions.
They
So
play hot potato with the basketball.
yeah, and I think Gonzaga being the let's favor the ball a little bit more is definitely looking a little bit better than them, and they've beat other teams like this by similar numbers. I mean, they beat Alabama, who likes to play this similar style of ball, play fast and turn it over, by 9. So I think, beating them by one more point at 10, probably not that hot of a take, especially when Ken Pom thinks this is going to be a 12-point win with 86% accuracy.
I mean, especially too, if you catch Gonzaga on their best day. One of these games, they're going to have their best day, and they're just going to obliterate somebody.
Yeah, that was with
They are purely better than Memphis.
They were shooting 28% from the 3-point line against Georgia State. That's not going to happen every game.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they just play good?
Yeah.
What they're going to do to Memphis.
Yeah.
Just have a good game.
There's also
destroy Memphis.
Memphis doesn't have the guys to guard both Timmy and Holmgren in the paint.
They just don't have the athletes to keep up. They don't.
Yeah, so I really like this set for the Gonzaga team. It sucks that Memphis, you got to go out this way, but I think no matter who it was, Memphis or Boise, Memphis was probably going to take care of them, or Gonzaga was going to take care of them pretty handedly. So it is what it is. It happens. So I guess we'll get that daily pick screen set up for you guys and see if Jared can go a hot 8-0 tomorrow. We'll get that ready.
Responsibly. I know nothing.
He just started watching college basketball this week, so let that be a forewarning.
Beginner's luck, though, is a thing.
It is.
Also remember that.
We'll get that screen ready and see it in a second. All right, so here are today's picks. We got UNC versus Baylor over 148.5. Creighton versus Kansas under 139. Michigan to cover their +6 spread versus Tennessee. Providence to cover their -2.5 spread versus Richmond. UCLA to cover that -3 spread versus St. Mary's. Murray State to cover that 8.5 spread versus St. Peter's. New Mexico State to cover the +6.5 spread versus Arkansas. And Gonzaga to cover their -10 spread versus Memphis. We're very spread heavy today. He's got a lot of opinions on some of these matchups, so we'll see how it goes. But he said he's fairly confident in these.
You went heavy total yesterday and got screwed.
That's fair.
Been heavy total both days, so I'm gonna try and work some spreads here. There's a lot of teams that I like a lot on their spreads, but the numbers feel so sharp.
Yeah, but we will be more than happy to take an L and watch St. Peter's hop into the dance, watch Richmond hop into the dance. And forewarning, we were talking about this while I was making the screen. He has said that if he can get +3.5 on Richmond before the game starts, he will be hopping out of the Providence one and hopping into Richmond. So just keep that to Twitter. Pay attention to Twitter. Follow us on the Picture Pick Twitter.
I feel like I feel like Richmond's also going to be a real trendy dog tomorrow.
Possible.
People hate this Providence team. I wouldn't be surprised if Providence goes off at -1 pick. Honestly, the way people thought, number 1 lucky team. Okay,
the people really don't like them.
Pick it. Pick the luckiest team. Go ahead, pick it on the walk.
Yeah. Anyway,
give me 3.5 on Richmond, and that's where I'll ride it.
All right, so we're having some fun today, man. March Madness has been great. These games have been awesome. I got to watch Colgate. Sadly, give me an L, but it was just a fun game, man. It was just fun to watch March Madness. We have some great games over the weekend. I got the family coming over so we can watch some games. We might be playing some ranked in between them. You never know. Getting crazy with it. But it's going to be fun. Either way, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, hit the like button. It helps out the channel. Hit the like button. If you guys are watching us on those podcast platforms, give us the 5-star reviews. Also, subscribe if you're on YouTube. I mean, if you're hitting the like button, you might as well subscribe as well. If you watch these every single day, I mean, come on, what are you doing? And it's just been fun. Go out there, make some bets, and make some money.
See ya!